Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a super interesting topic, the paradox between the carnivore diet and the blue zone diets. On one side, you've got people thriving on a meat-only diet, and on the other, you have centenarians in places like Okinawa and Sardinia eating carb-rich diets, and they're living well past 100. So, what's going on here? How can these two seemingly opposite approaches both promote health and longevity? Well, we're going to break it down and discover the one big similarity they share that might just be the key. Let's start with the carnivore diet. People who follow it often report amazing health benefits, like weight loss, improved mental clarity, reduced inflammation, and relief from autoimmune conditions. The diet is high in animal fats and proteins and extremely low in carbs, basically zero carbs. The theory here is that by cutting out all plant-based foods, especially carbohydrates, you're reducing things like inflammation and allowing the body to function more optimally. So it's about going back to basics, eating nutrient-dense, unprocessed animal products, and avoiding any plant defense compounds or allergens that could trigger inflammation or an autoimmune response. Now let's head over to the blue zones, places like Okinawa, Japan, or Sardinia, Italy. The people in these areas consistently live to be over 100 years old, and their diets are pretty much the opposite of carnivore. They eat carb-rich foods like sweet potatoes, beans, and whole grains. So how are they living so long on these carb-heavy diets, when we hear so much about low-carb being healthier? This is where the paradox comes in. You've got the carnivore community doing great on a diet with zero carbs, and then you have blue zone centenarians living long and healthy lives on diets that are rich in carbohydrates. It seems like a contradiction, but here's where we find common ground. Both diets avoid highly processed and ultra-processed foods. In the blue zones, even though they're eating carbohydrates, they're whole foods. No processed junk, no refined sugars, no factory-made products. It's all real, traditional food. Similarly, the carnivore diet eliminates processed foods. Whether you're eating ribeye steaks or sweet potatoes, what's missing in both of these diets are the highly processed oils, artificial additives, and refined sugars that are so common in modern diets. So it's not so much that carbs are the enemy or that animal products are the only way. The bigger point here is that both diets focus on whole, unprocessed foods, and that's likely a huge reason why people thrive on them. Let's talk about why these highly processed and ultra-processed foods are so damaging. When you consume things like processed vegetable oils, refined sugars, and artificial additives, they can cause chronic inflammation, contribute to metabolic dysfunction, and lead to weight gain, insulin resistance, and even chronic diseases like diabetes or heart disease. Processed foods also often lack essential nutrients, leaving you hungry for more, which leads to overeating. Whether you're following a low-carb, high-fat carnivore diet or a carb-rich blue zone diet, avoiding these processed foods seems to be one of the keys to health and longevity. Both diets emphasize nutrient density, which means the foods you're eating are packed with the vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients your body needs to function properly, without the toxic burden of industrial additives. And of course, let's not forget about bio-individuality. What works for one person might not work for another. In the blue zones, these people have been eating their traditional diets for generations, and their bodies have adapted to thrive on them. On the other hand, many people today find success on the carnivore diet because it eliminates the food allergens and/or plant defense compounds that had been triggering inflammation when they were consuming plants and/or processed foods. The important takeaway is that there's no one-size-fits-all diet. The key is finding what works for you. But no matter what diet you follow, focusing on whole, unprocessed foods and avoiding the modern processed defeats. So, whether you're loving the carnivore lifestyle or leaning toward a more plant-based, carb-rich approach like those in the blue zones, the most important thing is what you're not eating, the processed junk. When it comes to diet, the real secret may be as simple as sticking to natural, whole foods and ditching the ultra-processed stuff that's wreaking havoc on our health. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you found this video helpful, or if you've got your own thoughts on this paradox, drop a comment below and let's chat. Don't forget to hit that like button, click the notifications bell, and subscribe for more content like this. See you in the next one. Take care and stay healthy, everyone.